What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be out in the dark working on this D16y7. We're just going to take it apart. It was an engine I had for a long ass time. I'll go over the history about the engine while I'm taking it apart just to save time. Yeah, so let's get to it. It's been sitting, I don't know, probably for about 3 years, and it's been rained on, and it's locked up. I can't even turn it to get the flywheel off, or the what do you call that thing? What's that thing called? What's it called? Jesus Christ! The automatic the torque converter. I can't turn it to get the torque converter off because all the bolts are on the back side of the torque converter with the little automatic flywheel thingy, majigger bobber, whatever you call it. So I got it kind of mounted onto the engine stand, kind of sketchy, but it should hold. It's been sitting for 2 days like this, so it should be good. The timing belt is already cut, so the first thing I want to do is just start removing the head. Just pop the head bolts off. I might have to take this bracket off. I think it's the power steering bracket, because it looks like it's bolted into the block and the head. Let me raise you up so you can see a little bit better. Get a bird's eye view, maybe. I'm assuming the bracket are 14 millimeter. And my dumb ass is tightening that. Need to go find a bucket to dump this in. And again, yes, I live next to a racetrack. Alright, we got our bucket. We're gonna throw all our bolts and shit into it. Yeah, this thing's been sitting for about 3 years. It was, I don't remember why we had, I don't know, my son-in-law, he bought a 99 Civic, and but the previous owner of his Civic had put Home Depot, like, lag bolts in as head bolts. So we bought a head. The head was kind of fucked up. Let me start over. So it had the head gasket had blown on it, and he had it for like a week, and then the head gasket blew, which sucks. But so we decided to do a head gasket. We got the head milled. Actually, we couldn't get the original head milled because it was fucked, and as we took the head off, we noticed that the head bolts were the wrong bolts. But what we didn't realize was the threads inside the block were fucked up. And so we got a new head, we got it milled and all that, and then we found out that the head studs wouldn't go in because the threads in the block were fucked up. Let me find a bigger wrench for this. And so we bought an entire motor, which I'm not sure if it's this one or it's the one that's in his car, but we bought 2 whole engines for some dumb reason. I don't remember why, what happened, what's wrong with this one. I honestly don't remember. But we bought this, and I think it's good, honestly. But anyway, long story short, we had to put a new engine in his car, and somehow we ended up with this one, and I let it sit forever, and it got rained in, and it's toasted. I mean, it could probably be cleaned up on a machine and brought back to its original condition, but I never did, and I probably never will. I'll probably just pull the crank and sell it. But this head is going onto his car because he's having a head gasket issue again, which seems super weird. I'm not sure why. We even put ARP head studs in it. So I don't know. Maybe the block is fucked. I don't know. Maybe we just didn't do it right. There's a whole lot of maybes there. But anyway, so I'm going to take this head off. I'm going to take it apart. I'm going to get it machined, and we're going to stick this one onto his car. Yeah, that's the story for this engine. And I'm curious what the engine block looks like, because I know the thing was full of water. At one point I drained it because I was going to use the oil pan from it, but apparently the Y8 and Y7 oil pans are completely different. There's that smell again. Whenever you remove the head bolts, or like the crank bolts, you smell that. It smells like oil, like dirty oil. I honestly think it smells good. You're probably not getting any of this, are you? Jesus. I need to check my camera more often. Make sure you guys can see it. Alright, all the head bolts are loose, so we're just going to run them out. Alright, well I lost my magnet, so I'll just pull them all out by hand. These are the shortest head bolts ever, compared to the F22 and even the B series. Alright, we got that off. We're going to move it over here to the table behind me. For being full of water, I mean, it honestly doesn't look that bad. I mean, it's a little surface rust, but I mean, it could be honed and cleaned up and sold. Maybe if I take the timing cover off, it'll crank. Alright, so there's a few 10mm bolts we need to get off to get the timing cover off. Right here, can't see, can you? Alright, so right here on the oil dipstick thing, there's a little metal bracket thing you gotta pop off because there's a screw behind there. Now we should be able to remove this. Doesn't want to. It doesn't want to cooperate though. Oh well, that's good enough. Let's get this 10mm bolt. Looks like there's one right here. There's one down here. Let me move to the other side, excuse me. There's one right here. There's another right in here. You got to remove the crank positioning sensor wire. And I would say there's probably one there, but it's not there. Is there another one somewhere? Oh, just want it to be difficult. This is where the dipstick thing goes in. There's a little metal clip that wraps around. I don't know what happened to the clip. Oh, it's actually still on here. Here it is right here. Just clips on like that. Ooh, this guy's rusty. Alright, we're going to start removing this mount, the water pump, the tensioner, the cam or crank sensor, all that shit. Water pump is 10mm bolts. Oh, you gotta remove the alternator bracket too. That's a 14mm. We got that. There's a little play in there. I mean, maybe. Tensioner is 14mm. And of course I'm going the wrong way. Excuse me. And let's get this motor mount off. Well, it's not a mount, it's the mount post or something. I forget what it's called. And it's 3 14mm bolts. Or no, it's only 2. $10mm bolts on the crank sensor. Oh, there's only one of them. Here's your crank sensor. Alright, let's start pulling the water pipe, the thermostat housing, the bottom bracket for the alternator. There's a little bracket here. It holds probably a wiring harness or some shit. Has a 10mm. And the thermostat housing has 2 10mm. One on top here and one down here. And the water pipe is just held in there by these little rubber O-ring gaskets. There's one on both sides, one here too. I'm not going to worry about that one right now. Let's move on to the lower alternator bracket, and that is 14 millimeter. And there are two of them. And that's what the bracket looks like. Your alternator slides into here. Would like to flip it over and get to the bottom, but I'm kind of worried about it the way because it's only connected to two bolts on the engine stand.